everybody. Happy Friday. So, please, before I forget, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you to all of you who have subscribed. I really appreciate it. I just want you to know I don't take any of that for granted. Y'all, okay, so we're back for another review of Love After Lockup, Street Lies and P.I.s, Season 5, Episode 2. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This episode was straight given, and we ain't even get no Brittany and Carrick. Okay, like I thought they was gonna be the ones that brought it. I said all these people. This episode gave. Okay, so let's get into it. So I'll go ahead and just start here because the show started here. All right, Asante and Renika, baby. I can't with this chick. Renika, you are a bird bitch. And it doesn't look good. You're not going to convince us to blame somebody else for it. It's not looking good. So this chick is walking around in a bed sheet. In a bed sheet. You know the bed sheet that goes over like the fitted sheet? That one, just that. Because apparently there's no blanket or comforter for you to walk around in. Everybody knows you're supposed to grab a blanket. Why are you walking around in a sheet? Or put some clothes on. Something. You looking stupid. Or just stay in the bed. Go back to the bed so you don't have to look like a dummy hanging out in front of that damn counter. Anyway, so she's claiming they had sex for like 3 to 4 hours and she knows it was good because she was moaning and he was moaning. Mind you, she's telling us about this in her confessional when she actually has that green ponytail in. This is after she gets out her bed sheet. So this is after she realizes that he's gone. She's still talking about it like that. That's how I know you a dumb chick. Okay. Anyway, then she called him, right? Because she walking around the house looking for him. Like, where would he be, girl? But gone. Anyway, she called him and left a voicemail calling him a bitch, saying, you just got home. You got the nerve to be somewhere else. Well, bitch, even if he wasn't, he should be nowhere else. If he your man. See, Renika, the math ain't mathing with you. So then she FaceTimed her sister. You can tell her sister's over it because she knows whatever she says. Because her sister was just like, wow, that's crazy. Her sister said that because she knows whatever she says, Renika's not going to listen. And she ain't. And it ain't no sense of wasting your breath. You might as well go back to bed and lay down. Don't let her take no more of your energy. She'll be home. Trust. Anyway, so her best friend was like, when she called her best friend Ray on the phone, she was like, well, you know what? Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe this will help you wake up. Okay, let's see. I can rock with that kind of advice. I thought she was saying, well, look, you gonna play auntie to Ray because she was obviously keeping her kids and it's her best friend. But she said auntie's his girlfriend, auntie. I couldn't understand what she was saying. That country, I just couldn't take it. And her homegirl was like, oh no, you talk to her? I was like, wait, we talking about this other chick that helped bail him out of jail? Y'all got bigger fish to fry. No, Renika, you got bigger fish to fry. So I was trying to figure out what she was saying in the first place. And she was like, see, I was wondering why you had never met his aunt. Renika was like, yeah, that's why, because his silly ass had another girl. No, bitch, you're the silly one. Looking for a man that escaped you so easy that your ass didn't even hear that motherfucking door close. You dumb. You the one silly, okay? Because he ain't on here looking crazy. Matter of fact, he ain't even on camera. Oh my gosh. So I just can't. These people are a mess. So, bitch, as far as I'm concerned, Renika, let me give you a little advice. Get out that Airbnb, go get your fucking kids, and take your silly ass back to Kentucky. Okay? It's better sooner than later. Anyway. And homegirl, best friend, see, I was with you for a second, okay? But see, I stuck a pin there, and now I got to come and pull it back out. Until you said, I'm down, though, to pop up on him with you and fight. I'm like, chick, fight for what? Fight for what? So you want Renika to waste her time and money some more, okay? To go look for some sorry-ass motherfucker who doesn't want her. Why would you help her with this foolishness? To get him back, how? Ain't nothing getting him back? Or this other chick. Clearly he went to go see her. So then the only question Renika asked is, can your sister watch the girls? I was like, bitch, what? Do you know her sister like that? How long have you known her sister at this point? Especially since you don't live in Atlanta with her. This ain't like one of your friends that you just drive up to. Now, y'all may have been close, you and Ray. But Ray's, like, you just leaving your kids just, this is child neglect at this point. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right, so she calls Ray's sister. And says, well, let me talk to my kids for a second. I said, bitch, for a second. See, this is the kind of shit that's getting on my nerves. Okay, so she asked them, like, oh, what are y'all doing? They were like, nothing. And she should have said, y'all don't have no work to do? That's what she should have said. But see the kind of parents we deal with nowadays? So instead, they asked her, well, what's going on with you and Asante? Appropriate question, because that's why she moved y'all there. All right, so what's going on with you and Asante? And she told her kids the grown woman business, which she should not have told her kids. So her kids understand what it means to be a child and to not be involved. She should have protected their feelings. You know what she said? Y'all know what she said. Girl, I don't even know. Girl, you talking to your children like your homegirls. First of all, that makes them feel insecure because you brought them down there and you don't even know days into it. And days, we know, maybe a short amount of time for other things, but not when you away from your mother and you're still children. I don't give a fuck if they're teenagers. That's when they need you the most because they need you to help navigate this space with them. Anyway, so, and then the girls just asked her, they said, just come home. She proceeds to recruit Ray, which was easy to do, and go meet with a private investigator. I said, child, I can't. Then they go, it's been some days now, apparently, because that's the way she's saying it. And they go to the restaurant to meet the P.I. to go looking for this motherfucker. And she ain't seen her kids. She gave them away, hell, that night. She went with them a full 24 hours in Atlanta. These kids are already enrolled in school. How the hell does somebody even take your kid to school and they're not their legal guardian? Y'all do know you need a legal guardian for all of this extra stuff, right? Okay, just checking. All right, so I don't even understand what's going on. So in the text, the auntie/girlfriend was like telling Renika, they were having a back and forth. Like, I'm his girlfriend. And she was like, no, I'm his girlfriend. I was like, girl, this is the kind of stuff you're supposed to do when you in your late teens, early 20s in college, when you just learning, like, you can't change nobody. Okay, but you doing this in your 30s, and I'm going to need you to do better. And she was like, well, I've been dating him for 18 months. And the other chick was like, well, I've been dating him for 2 years. And she was like, oh, and the other chick was mad. She was like, oh, he's giving my money to another chick after she realized she paid the $3,000 for the bail. But $1,100 of that came from this other woman. So then Renika was like, well, I went to pick him up from jail. Where were you? And then Renika goes, this bitch is so stupid. Renika, you are the dumb bitch. You want to know why? Why she wasn't there in jail? Because she was probably home with her kids. Okay, that's probably where she was supposed to be. Not only that, she's not on TV for us to know who she is. This girl can go on and lie about it. Even if her friends tell other people, you can be like, that wasn't me. I don't know what she's talking about. They ain't seeing her face or her kids' faces. You the one got your family on here looking stupid. And not just you, your kids, your whole family. And you looking dumb as fuck. Okay? So, your kids want you to come home. And at this point, I don't even know what home is. Is it Ray's house? Is it the Airbnb? Is it Louisville? Is it Atlanta? Like, I don't get it. All for a man that you never knew in person. This is not like one of her children's fathers. Just something. Like somebody you knew, you kicked it with for a couple of years, and then y'all rekindled once they were in prison. No. No. And you out here looking bad in these streets. Okay? And you're stupid, and so is your friend. Because she knows this is stupid, but she supports you showing your ass and looking for this motherfucker, okay, on a nationally syndicated show. Despite all the logical things that came out of her mouth, she's still gonna help you do dumb shit. See, y'all some dumb broads. I can't even. So the P.I., his name is KC. See, he's so private, he don't even give his name. He got sense too. Anyway, comes to the restaurant. And I know he's so happy this black chick is stupid enough to pay him for this. He's talking about the 470 area codes. Now, let's first of all, before we even get to this, Ray, her friend, helps her hire a PI. Renika was so broke she couldn't cover his bail, and she was willing to dip into her daughter's college savings to get Asante out of jail. But you let your friend, and your friend is stupid, hiring a PI instead of asking her, "Can I borrow some money to get back to Louisville? Because this ain't gonna work. I messed up. I made a mistake." Y'all some dumbasses. All right. Anyway, so he's talking about the 470 area codes, and he's like, "I'm not sure if you know about Atlanta's area codes, but they change a lot or whatever. Atlanta does have a lot of area codes. 404 is really Atlanta, but you can have all kinds of area codes, and you'll recognize 678 and all that stuff. Anyway, um, and he was like, but these sort of numbers are usually associated with people running the streets who don't want to be able to be traced, especially if they're doing illegal stuff. That should have been enough, especially since he's right out of jail. So these chicks in their mid-30s, and by these chicks I mean Ray and Renika, okay, when they find out that the auntie/girlfriend is a 44-year-old woman, and they were like, "See, I knew she was an auntie. I knew she was an auntie. She's 44. Auntie. She's acting like she an auntie. No, she a cool guy. A cool guy." I was like, Renika, you are so inarticulate, ghetto, and stupid. And you up here mocking somebody whose face we can't even trace, honey. They ain't even got permission. Even if she shows up on TV, you know they gonna blur her face out. You looking stupid. Don't pull it. Don't pull it. And how you in your mid-30s calling a 44-year-old woman a cougar? Stop. Stop. Cut it out. Cut it out. Because it's you looking bad right now. Then the PI calls the number directly. Right? He said, "Do you want me to call a hotel and ask for auntie, or you want me to call?" I'm sorry. This is excuse me. This is a foolishness. So he calls the number directly, and we don't know. We ain't gonna really know till next week. But it sounds like a Sunday picked up the phone. I said, "Baby, I cannot. I just can't. I can't, but I will, and I will see you next week." So Andy and Brittany. Now, I would have thought this was going to be the most boring. I was like, how did they even make it at a casting? So they go and pick Brittany up. All right, we got that. She gets into it with her daughter in the car about the different stuff they should have for, I guess, the son's birthday party. And instead of just letting her daughter have a moment of frustration, or several moments of frustration, she starts making excuses for her behavior and what she's been through. And by her, I mean Brittany's behavior and what she's been through. Right? As if she's the only one who's hurting in this situation. Then we get to the hotel. Brittany and Andy get to the hotel, and Brittany's just like, "I just want to jump in the pool. They go take they grown asses in their regular clothes. Just jump in the pool and get back out. They didn't swim. They didn't chill. They just... Okay, right. All right. And then Andy, they both walk back in, and Andy just looks at the daughter and says, "We'll be right back." And turns his head. Mind you, Brittany don't say shit to her daughter. This hoe just got out of jail. This addicted hoe who has been neglecting her kids got the nerve to act like her daughter's not even there. Let me tell you something. I'm about to tear Brittany up. I'm just going to tell y'all that right now. So Brittany's daughter and Andy's son when they tell them that, walking to like the hotel restaurant or like a lounge area or something like that. I don't know. But then her daughter comes upstairs. She knocks on the door. And, Andy opens it. She doesn't really say much to Andy, but she looks at him and closes the door. She wants to have a conversation with her mother. Brittany, you're already a fucked up parent. You are. You've been in jail before. This isn't the first time you've left your kids. You have or had an addiction. Okay? And I'm not judging somebody for having an addiction. I'm judging you for the aftermath of this shit. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you, with or without this addiction, your behavior would be very much the same. I can tell by the kind of person you are. Okay? And you left your oldest daughter to basically raise her siblings. She's only fucking 18. Yeah, she's legally able to vote, legally an adult. She's still a kid. Period. And she lost that childhood, taking care of your responsibilities. And I don't like the shit. Okay? Now, And then you talk about in this confessional how hard it is for you to reinforce the rules because you've been away. What rules, bitch? The rules you clearly weren't following. Because you giving all types of narcissists right now. Everything applies to everybody else except me. So you're a bad parent. And I usually don't call people out just like that, but you leaving me no choice because I'm dead ass with this. Because this shit pissed me off. That girl, Gracie, she needs you. Not you and Andy. You. And then you get into an argument with her. You're not even hours hardly out of jail. And call this girl 18 years old who's been raising your damn kids. I don't mean to say damn kids like the kids, but call her selfish because it's her brother's birthday that you, Brittany, have essentially crashed this little boy's birthday because with the process of getting out, you're going to get all the attention that he's supposed to be getting. You do realize that, right? Because we all know kids, it's usually family and close friends parents are going to want to talk to the parent of the boy. Like, let's just cut it out. And not for the reasons that you typically do. Typically, parents meet before they take their kid to a birthday party. So Andy bakes that raggedy ass cake. Whatever. Okay, he should have gone to the store and bought one. So everybody else, him, Andy, his son, Gracie most of all, everybody else is taking care of your son and kids. Except you. Y'all notice that? She done put everybody else to work and ready to take credit for it. You can tell. And I'm just like, this bitch is motherfucking bold. Like, you were going off on Andy because you thought he left his kids. That doesn't even compare to what you did at this point. Nothing. I mean, just in those few hours, it doesn't even compare. You out your goddamn mind. You need your ass whooped. Okay? So then Andy looked at the camera, and while Gracie and Brittany in the bathroom and tells them to cut, and was like, I know y'all want to get this footage, but y'all should stop. First of all, y'all lucky I was even casted on this show with y'all's whack asses. Number two, no, this is what you signed up for. Why else? I mean, and this show of all shows, like, you signed up to expose every part of your life. Like the fact that I'm with a former inmate. Like, you were actually signing up for that. It's not even like a love and hip hop where people at least pretend to be artists. Yeah, I signed up to expose my music, not for all of this. Like, y'all don't even have that same kind of excuse. Don't pull it. All right, so anyway, we get a break from them and then we come back to them. So back at the ranch, all right, the daughter Gracie asks to be alone with her mom. She asks Andy if he'll leave the hotel room. He leaves. Gracie explains to the mother that she's in a bad mood and she's tired. And her mother calls her selfish. And then Gracie tries to fix the situation, which is typical of a child who is in a position of raising their parents. And when they have narcissistic parents, they have to cater to their emotions. So Gracie tries to fix it and says, look, I'm frustrated and I know you're frustrated. And Brittany looks at her and says, I'm not frustrated. Bitch, you should be. If your daughter's this mad at you, you got your motherfucking nerve. Anyway, so Brittany literally said, well, fine. If that's the case, if you're tired and upset, go take a nap and let me get ready. Ma'am. No. Then she says to her mom, look, I'm not trying to follow you around just to, annoy you. I just want to spend time with you. That shit was so fucking sad. And her mother's inability to walk over and hug her daughter, say, I'm sorry. At this point, when you've been locked up based on an addiction, your 18-year-old daughter has been raising her siblings, so she's practically raised herself and still not as bad as she could be. And you didn't even walk over. Whatever that girl says to you, you got to take it. You got to fucking take it. And the fact that you were fighting back and arguing back is indicative of how you think you should be perceived. And it's more important for you to perform how you should be perceived on television than it is to make sure your daughter is okay. And Andy, why would you want to be with somebody like that? Because both of y'all looking real wild right about now. Anyway, and you were dismissive. You didn't take responsibility for shit. I'm over it. You failed this girl. You did. And the oldest often gets hit the hardest. I'm not the oldest in my family, but it's, one thing I have noticed is that the oldest often gets hit the hardest, even in regular situations, because a lot of times the parent is still kind of growing up too, and they're kind of new to it. So they have these high expectations for the oldest kid because they didn't know, really understand what kids could and couldn't handle. I don't know. That's just my perception. But this girl hasn't had a normal childhood even close to it. So how dare you treat her like she needs to get used to Andy? Tell her that, well, what do you think about Andy? You need to get used to him or whatever. This, that, and the other. Like, you've been dating this man in a normal way. You've been dating him through jail. We don't know what kind of hell this girl has been through. We don't know. Then she starts crying. She says, well, I feel better. And I said, yeah, she feels better after crying. She needed to cry. She's been told by you and this whole situation that her feelings and her tears do not matter. And you are setting her up to be loyal to people that are not loyal to her, in relationships and otherwise, because you've taught her she does not fucking matter. And then you do that narcissistic bullshit. I'm going to tell you, I peeped it. Then telling her, well, look, I'm all yours. So technically, if I get in the car with you and not with Andy, yeah, I'm saying something, doing something, and then I sit in the car the whole fucking time and talk about myself. See these mountains? This is so me, so my life. I know it's weird. I'm going to live with Andy. But my priority, is my kids and you, as if her child isn't her child. And then she goes back to talking about herself. This bitch is crazy. I don't like her ass, and I don't give a shit what shit comes her way because she deserves it. She got some issues. Okay? So Brittany and Andy just are like, they're just not even believable. They communicate like two PTA parents or something. Like, they work together on an event with the kids. They can work together long enough to get it done and nothing alike. But they, part of the PTA. And then they run into each other at the grocery store maybe once every 2 months and just speak. Like, that's how they look. They don't look like people together. All right. So then they finally leave the hotel. He gets in the car and asks his son and goes, she's not what you thought, is she? And he was like, no, she jumped right in. Anybody that gets that familiar that quick is always bad news. I've noticed that with people. And not just in Brittany's case, but people who just get familiar with a situation and act like they know this, that, and the other, those people are dangerous. But they haven't been exposed. They're covering something else up. And so they overcompensate by trying to act really familiar. You ever met somebody that was maybe a friend of somebody else's, but y'all have dinner or whatever, and this person just acts like they've known you and they get real familiar real quick, or walk into somebody's home and just, goes to the bathroom, don't ask, and nothing like that. Them kind of people, watch them. Because people that get too familiar too quick, they I don't know, they nosy and they vicious and they do a lot of fuck shit. All right, anyway. Then Brittany had the nerve to get in that car with her daughter and talk about her daughter's driving. Well, bitch, maybe if you was out of jail, you could have taught her. Fuck you. All right? Then she got on this show, for real, knowing she had a bunch of kids she hadn't taken care of, that you failed, and can sit there and treat your daughter on camera like she's some chauffeur or an assistant to you. That's what she was talking to her. You would have thought that was her daughter. She didn't lean over to hug her, to support. Like, it was just giving, I don't even know this person. That's what it was giving. And I'm saying it's narcissistic. I'm not just throwing that word around. It's narcissistic because she is saying things in the confessional and once in a while to her daughter, but not regularly. All she's doing is talking about herself. Constantly, what she's done, this, that, and the other, excuses. Then they get to the place for the party. So Gracie goes in, and she goes over to the car and says to Andy, oh yeah, I'm getting stuff up for the party, and tells Andy and his son that they need to hang outside for like 2 hours because he's not ready to meet her kids. Bitch, why didn't you tell him this before? If you don't want him around your kids and you really care about your kids, then don't let that be a plan in the first fucking place. What the fuck is this? Did he pay for this party? Because who paid for this party? We know it ain't you. Because we know you came out broke. This is what I'm talking about. So this bitch comes out of prison without an ounce of humility. Okay, and Andy, you dumb as hell because you should have gotten that fucking car. Since they have another car anyway, and even if they didn't, you should have still got back in that fucking car. Okay, and said, fuck it. I have a house, and left that bitch to figure out her own shit. That's what you should have done. Okay? Instead of getting played over and over again. Oh, that bitch would have paid. She would have pulled that shit on me and told me I need to wait outside for 2 hours. And they just standing outside the same way they were standing outside waiting for her car. Fuck that shit. Why don't y'all go get something to eat? You apologize to your son for the next 2 years for fucking him up by doing this. And she's up here talking about how her kids come first. Well, Andy, why don't you take a page out of her book? Your kid needs to come first. Take your son and get him the fuck out this situation and go back home. And if your daughter say something to you, take it, because you're going to have to hear it. Next, Sheree and Anthony. Sheree, you are a dumb broad. But you didn't piss me off like the first two. Okay? The first two took the cake. No pun intended. All right. All right. So Sheree is making a dance video with her son to send to Anthony in prison. What kind of example is that? It's a terrible one, I can tell you that. Now I understand taking your kids to prison to visit family. I mean family. Like their father or their uncle, somebody that they know or knew. It's a different kind of thing. Not your boyfriend who you're telling your son is his stepfather and y'all aren't even legally married. You are building a great setup to disappoint your son and to teach him not to trust women. Because we definitely need more men like that in the world. Right. Okay, so you're dating a man in prison and teaching him to communicate with this man who is not his father. That's your failure, Sheree. It is. And that little boy told her when she asked him, well, if your dad comes to the party I'm having for Aunt, what do you think would happen? And he was like, he'll be really mad. He's talking about Anthony. Anthony be really mad this man would show up at his party. This little boy makes more sense than anybody in this whole situation or on this whole damn show. He goes, look, I just want everybody to get along. I don't really want any trouble. I just want, my father and aunt to kind of get along. And he's talking really sensible. And I'm like, please don't fail this boy that could really go far in life. So, I don't know why y'all have y'all's kids on camera knowing they got to go back to school and knowing how mean kids can be. I know firsthand how mean kids can be held to teachers. Then the shit you witness as a teacher and have to check. And then when that kid walks out the classroom, what could happen? All right, like, I don't even know why y'all would do. This is how I know y'all slipping. Y'all slipping. So Aunt is on the phone. Anthony is on the phone. On the jail phone. Okay, let's be clear. Talking about he wants to sit down with Richie when he gets out. Because he thinks because I'm coming home, he can slack off with taking care of his son. First of all, you're on a jail phone. Okay? So we're not going to talk about slacking off. Okay? When was your last W-2? Don't play with me. Don't pull it. Okay? 2, who told you that? Motherfucker, Sheree told you that. And if she was telling you that, and you ain't seen it, shut the fuck up, because it ain't your son. And more than likely, this is just some kind of talking shit moment. How dare you think you can get in the middle of it? And that's the shit that's going to piss him off. And I don't blame him. Because my first course of action, somebody getting out of jail thinking they can talk to my kid like that, would be like, no, I want to usurp custody. And honestly, Sheree, it wouldn't be good in your favor. Because of what you're bringing your son around. And that's not his biological father. And you're not really married to this man. Let's keep that in mind. All right. Now, and either way, this is not your place. It's not your place. And it ain't going to be your place no 20 minutes after getting out of jail. Slow your roll, Anthony. Slow your roll. What did I tell you about people getting too familiar too quick? Them people got problems. So Sheree is giving, I like attention. And I like attention where men fight over me. Because that makes me feel worthy. That's what she's giving. Then Sheree apparently is an HR manager. Apparently I missed that last week, or they didn't tell us, or I just missed it. And says she's going to be on top of him. She says, I've already completed his resume for him. How are we explaining them gaps? How the hell are you on top of a man and the man is not creating his own resume? Yes, he'll definitely learn skills from that. How you're going to take care of him. Great example, once again. Another great example for your son. Because we definitely need more men being dependent on women. Girl, bye. Anyway, so you might as well be helping your 14-year-old son, and your the boy isn't 14, he's 10, but I'm just talking about like in general. For example, you might as well be helping, like, if you had a 14-year-old son apply for a job at Chick-fil-A, because you doing all the work. But at least he be sitting there at the computer with you. Like, what the hell, you dumb broad? And I'm like, she's an HR manager. So HR managers have to do stuff like settle disputes in the workplace, from dress code to salary to interpersonal conflicts. And you walk around looking like that with your booty out everywhere. Like, huh? I didn't know strip clubs have HR now. Things have changed, honey. But okay then. Anyway, then she pulls up to the jail yelling, Wade, Anthony, mommy is coming to get you. Now, I thought this about her treating him like a son before I even saw this. And then I was like, this adding up. Bitch, you not going home? Jail ain't home? And if you believe jail is home, I don't care if you got life, you better believe heaven is your home. You should not see jail as home, okay? Ever. So then you are standing outside in them stripper shoes that are Easter white. Like, it was that kind of white that you wear with the ruffle socks and a little, heel maybe, if your mother let you when you were like 10 or 11, like a small little, hump. You're like, it was Easter white. And her feet don't fit in them. That shit looked a mess and cheap. It looked like it was going to fall apart at the soles. I can't. Because they're really not meant to be worn. They're just shit that you're supposed to ballet in on the stage. Let's be real. So she is talking about how her shoes are giving straight boss. They're giving straight slut. Next, Chelsea and Michael. Chelsea is communicating to us that her past relationships, haven't been successful, and they all seem to have been abusive, which is sad. And I do know that some kids are more likely to be sexually assaulted or abused when they have a handicap, because that's part of, your trainings that you do every year. And that statistic always kind of makes me shudder. So I wouldn't be shocked that that kind of thing follows people into adulthood, because they're easy to take advantage of because of something they can't control, even less so, to be handicapped young ladies. So, it's unfortunate. And people are sick. People are sick to do that. So she has 3 kids. The youngest doesn't have a father in his life. The youngest looks like he's probably half black. Which is probably the reason why he can have his face shown on TV. And them other 2 can't, because the father probably not having it. But she's talking about how when Mikey gets out, she's not having sex, but he doesn't know. Chelsea. Nah, girl. Don't. So she was like, I really want to build a life with him. The fact that he learned sign language, to me, though, is a good indicator. He probably does care about her, because that ain't nothing easy. And we can say people don't have shit else to do in jail. People don't have shit else to do in jail but call the phone 15 million times like Chris did with old girl on Love during Lockup. But anyway, so let's not act like everybody would do that. But while I understand that there's an importance of representation on television, I find this exploitive. And I don't know why, because we can argue that all of it's exploitive, but this constant translating her while she's doing sign language and the conversations they have, like, me personally, I find it hard to like, just treat it like a show and go in, because we're clearly talking about somebody who can't hear, who is like deaf and mute, right? Can't communicate, right? Verbally at least. And I just feel like they should have done a separate show, even if it was about these things, so that it could be perceived differently. And I feel like it's being set up to be a joke, a gif that is harmful. All right, and we can say Chelsea is not making good decisions. Okay, well, no, nobody on the show makes good decisions. I just think I don't know, because the thing is, I don't want to act like, oh, handicapped people shouldn't have access, but I think it sets it up to be a joke, and it's not funny. It's not. It's not, especially with a kid involved. So she gets back home finally and starts to pack to go and get Mikey. She said she was gonna be there 8 or 9 days, and I'm like, chick how? In my Beyonce voice, remember when they asked when she was Black as King Aga? Chick how? Anyway, then she said, well, I want to be extra, but y'all not fucking. Y'all not having sex. Um, is it worth being that extra? But okay, girl. So she has had a rocky relationship with her mother. She's explained that to us. And I remember, like on the previous season, we saw her and her father. And her father, who has apparently been in her life, but was just like really frustrated with her dating a convict, because he's probably seen you go through so much. Like, girl, like you got to give your father a break with this. And now there's always sometimes there can be a blessing in that process. So in that process, she was able to rebuild the relationship with her mother, because her relationship with her mother has been rocky. And she said, my mother became like my best friend. And then we find out, after her friend asked her if she was going to visit her mother before she left, she said, yeah. And then we realized that her mother passed away recently. So she was basically going to, her gravesite. And I just feel like this is sad. This is sad. And I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like being on this show, they're treating it like a joke. And I just don't think it's funny. I don't. So Melissa and Louie, or Melissa, Donna, and Louie. Okay, so he got sent back to prison for 30 days. Now, for some reason, did I miss this last week too? Anyway, I mean, the show's an hour and a half, because she went to the facility when she wasn't supposed to. And Donna was like, well, basically it's your fault. He had to go back. And I'm like, well, yeah. So she took responsibility partly. And she was like, I'm not going to take all of it. Basically because his mother managed to smuggle in a cell phone to him. And that she can't, and the mother was like, well, I can't help that there's a shakedown. You know how many cell phones they find? This, that, and the other. She was like, well, he called me from that phone, and that's how I knew where he was or whatever. Both of y'all a mess. Okay? I can't. So he's paroled to Donna's house. Donna, you're being a bitch. And I like to respect my elders, and since we're not face to face, your behavior is it's bitchy. And I think you're being a bitch. Yeah. Yeah. You're not nice. You're rude as hell. And that look in your eye that was basically, I fucking hate you, to Melissa, says to me that that's part of who you are, and have been long before she came along. So, anyway, they stop because she has to go to the bathroom. Okay, she's rude about it. And so Melissa calls Louie, and she tells Louie, look, your mother is doing this and the other. And he said, I told you, fuck her. And I was just like, white people talk about and to their parents in a way I don't get. Like, even grown, I wouldn't be saying that about my mother or my father. Like, mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. I'm concerned about anybody who talks about their parents like that. But that's just me. All right. Well, me and my community. Most of them, in the words of Renika. Anyway, but her father calls. Let me tell you something. And this was the part that was given. Her father called, and so she put him on speakerphone, because it's a reality show. And he said, I want to speak to Donna. And I saw Donna's eyes kind of get big, right? She looked surprised. But was it me, or was it something that was also like, looked like Donna was happy for that grown man attention? That's what I was getting. And maybe she need a man, because she is just so hung up. And I usually don't like to talk like that about women. But Donna may be one of those people that look is better when she has a man. Some people are like that. All right? But let me tell you something. Papa got her together. I don't know what his name. I can't remember what his name is, but we know who we talking about. And he asked, "Hey, Donna." He said, "You're not gonna keep being a bitch to her." Donna, you have left us no choice. Okay, we are not. And I was like, "Ooh, child." These are my favorite kind of Italians. The ones that don't play. The ones that go hard till the day they die. They don't take no shit. And I'm here for it. So anyway, they don't play about their kids, neither one of them. And Pop got Donna's ass together over the phone. That bitch changed the tone of her voice and even her demeanor. Once he called and hung up, it still took her a few minutes to come out of it. And I'm gonna tell you how I know he fucked with her. Cause then she said to Melissa, "Well, you're just gonna throw me under the bus to your dad." Well, what the hell does it matter? That's another grown man. That ain't your husband. That ain't the father of your son. So what the hell you give a damn what he says? He can call from New Jersey down to Georgia and get you together like that. Girl, I see what we need in your life. You need a man with some backbone. Cause maybe that will calm you down. Cause I'm sorry. I'm glad he called. And like, you big and bad, Donna? What happened? You was the boss when you was like, pull over to the bathroom. That shit pissed me off. Like, boss up. He on the phone. He ain't even face to face with you. See, people like you. So Melissa was like, "Well, I told him about the situation, and he's a little bit overprotective." She was like, "Yeah, you think?" Honestly, Pop could have gone a lot harder. But he scared you, Donna. And the only reason why you got scared like that is because you know you're wrong for the way you behaving. And I don't even go up for Melissa, but how you treating her is messed up. So then Melissa was like, look, Donna, we fell in love. And she was like, "How do you fall in love over the phone?" And then I was like, check. 3 points for Donna. I'm sorry, because that was a good question. All right, so they get to the hotel finally. All right, and I think they go to separate rooms or whatever, so Melissa can call her father on the phone and tell him about their road trip, so he has something else to be pissed off about. And then the next morning they get up, all right, to go to jail to pick up Louie, all right? And she puts on that doggone cheerleading outfit. Melissa, I'm going to get to that in a second. So Donna was in her room crying. And I think anybody would be emotional knowing they're about to see their son. They haven't really had seen him a lot. I mean, that's your kid. When Donna was crying and saying her son had an addiction, and she knows that everybody knows that who has a kid with an addiction knows it can only end up 2 ways: 10 feet under or in jail. I was like, last time I checked, people get buried 6 feet under. Is there something I don't know? Put it down in the comments, because anyway. So then she goes from crying to banging. Not knocking on Melissa's door, banging, like rude, disruptive banging. Donna, I can't rock with you. It's not even funny to me. Like, you just being mean. So then she looks at her and says, "You're gonna freeze your ass off." And she was like, "Oh, don't worry, it's gonna warm up." And starts smirking. And I'm just like, I can't. So then she tells Donna, first of all, when they get outside, she throws the keys at Melissa and says, "Go get the car." First of all, Melissa, why would you ever let her have those car keys? And you better than me, because I would have gotten up extra early and left her ass at that hotel. Okay? Now figure out how to get back home. You know so damn much. See, I'm telling you, some people, you and Andy don't get it. You got to teach people. Anyway, then she tells Donna in the car that her and Louie are gonna need to spend private time together when he gets out. And Donna said, "Well, you need to take a step back." Now, in that moment, I understood. Okay, I wouldn't have told her shit, because I would have just been like, "I'm gonna do what I want to do." I would have let Louie tell her that. That wasn't worth it. But honestly, if she just wanted to get under Donna's skin, at this point, I get it. But I also understand why Donna would be pissed to hear that. Just let it happen. Let Louie handle it. It's his mama. So then Donna says, "Well, what makes you think you can handle a recovering drug addict?" And I was like, in my mind, I was like, "Well, you raised one." I'm sorry, did I miss something? Right. Okay. And he went away on your watch. But see, Melissa held back. Now, I don't know what that went through Melissa's mind or not. Melissa held back and just said, well, look, I think I'm good for him, so on and so forth. And, you know, if it doesn't work out, sayonara. And I'm like, Donna is trying it. She's trying it. So they get to the jail, and the mother starts crying. She's really emotional. And Louis looked good. I'm be honest, he looked good. He looked nice. He looked cleaned up. And I was just like, how come Asante didn't have the same barber like that before he left? They both in jail in Georgia. Like, I mean, he was just raggedy and dirty looking. And Louis didn't come out looking like that. Is that a choice? Because I'm trying to figure that out. Anyway, so then Melissa shows that damn chili that Donna already knew she had on from them sneakers, proving that she is still stuck in high school. This is what I'm saying. That Melissa is a dummy. She is caught up in high school. She wants to prove to people that she got the guy who was popular in high school. People who peak in high school, a lot of them become Louis, not so much drug addicts, but just not, they're not popping the same way. But you still are so attached to that. What the fuck happened to you? Like, what is it? Because the people around you aren't encouraging this. So he asked if, as they went back to the car, he's like, we go back to the hotel. And Mom says, no, we're going to the house. And he says, okay, well, we'll drop you off. And all of a sudden, the emotional Donna, the crying Donna, left. And that bossy bitch controlling mother came out. Get in the car. And I was like, oh, no. See, you got more to deal with how he turned out than I usually give people credit for. And you on my nerves. But this episode was good and I'm here for it. So anyway, I'll see y'all tomorrow for Love, Marriage, Huntsville. Yeah, be sure to like the video. And drop down in the comments. If you have something to say, make sure you're respectful to everybody. See you soon. Bye.